Hi everybody, I'm going to do the basic mechanics of the arm triangle. So first of all, the arm triangle is a blood choke, so I'm going to squeeze on each arteries here on my opponent's head, so I'm going to cut off the blood supplies to his brain, and he will eventually pass out if he doesn't tap out. So, and the reason it's called an arm triangle, either that or a side choke, is that I'm going to make a triangular shape here with my arm and slam his shoulder to finish the triangle shape. And the smaller the triangle shape is, the more pressure I'll put on his throat and the more tight the choke will be. So first of all, I want to get my forearm here parallel to the mat, and on this side it's my bicep squeezing into his throat, and on the other side it's my body pushing his own shoulder into his throat. So here I catch his arm with my head. If I lay parallel to him, my body will push his arm upwards instead of inwards. I want to create pressure this direction. So if I'm parallel to him, I won't get as much pressure as I want to. So once I catch it, I want to get out perpendicular to him here. And again, if I'm high like this, I'm squeezing more downwards than into him. So once I'm perpendicular to him, I want to get as close to the mat as possible, so I'll squeeze into his throat. So once I'm here, I'm looking away so I can get my cheek all the way down to the mat. I'm gripping either an S grip or a gable grip, but the arm under his head is the one I want to keep on top, so I can keep it really tight. If it's on bottom, it's not as tight. So whether it's an S grip or a gable grip, it depends on what you prefer. An S grip is more flexible, while the gable grip is more powerful. I usually go with the gable grip, but it's whatever you decide to do. So here, to get flat with my chest as well, I'm tucking this arm underneath myself here, so I can get really flat with my head and my chest and my hips. I'm perpendicular to him, and now to finish it off, not only am I squeezing with this arm, but I'm also pushing with my feet into him with my whole weight. So squeezing and pushing, creating pressure, making my opponent to tap out. When I get the angle and get low like this, you can see my entire body is on the mat. But as soon as I try to squeeze, I'm lifting all of my body except for my toes. So you'll be able to see at least that my knee and some of my hip is just moving just a fraction of an inch above the mat. So I'm gonna go like this now. Yeah. And instead of my weight is on the mat, I'm actually putting it all into my opponent's throat, creating the pressure. So that was the basic. Getting the angle, getting low, and squeeze. There's a couple of things that my opponent can do to either try to postpone the choke or prevent the choke. Very common thing is as soon as I start to create the angle, he'll just follow me. So I create the angle here, Simon follows me. Yeah, exactly. One thing I can do to prevent that is to get a knee up here and get flat like this. But of course, it is not as powerful, so I can either do that if I have enough power to choke him out, only using one leg, or I can just keep him like this and do a quick kind of jump out and squeeze very fast. So I'm like this, I'm just going to jump out like this and start squeezing. Yeah. So that's if he tries to follow me. Another thing, he can try to make like this telephone motion. Probably all heard it. If you watch UFC, Joe Rogan says all the time. Do like answering the phone. What this does is it creates a frame so he's stronger here in the shoulder, and it's harder for me to push it into his throat. Usually it's only a question of me being patient and just instead of just squeezing all that I can, squeeze about 90%, but keep it really consistent over a minute or so. Usually, eventually he will tap. But one thing I can also do here is to try to lift his head like this. I'm only letting go for a second. Try to dig my own head under here. I can get real deep, and now I'm turning it more into a neck crank. But I mean, it's his own problem, and I'll just keep squeezing, yeah. And eventually he usually taps. So that's for doing the phone call. The last thing, which is the only real good thing to do, is just to acknowledge that he's in a bad position and roll away from me. Once he rolls away and gets onto this side, just roll. I'm not being able to put pressure on him like this, but as soon as he start rolling away, yeah. One thing, I can always try to get real deep and get my hip back to the mat again, like that, forcing him back. Or if he rolls too far, I'll just acknowledge that, grab his arm, pulling up, and go for the back. From here on, I can do whatever I want. So that's the basic mechanics of the arm triangle. So have fun out there.